Hi, Steve.
Hi, Jim.
We've both been collecting records for a really long time, and we're both getting a little bit older. So I've been wondering a lot lately, are my musical tastes, as I age, are they maturing? Are they evolving? Or am I just being a grumpy old man?
Pretty sure you're having one of those get off my lawn kind of moments, Jim, but I know a guy that we can bring in that maybe can shed light on this.
And welcome once again to Two Guys Talking About Records, which I suppose today is Three Guys Talking About Records, the vinyl community podcast where each week we get together and you'll never guess what we talk about. Records.
Wow.
My name is Jim and I own a record store.
I am Steve and I am a record collector. And we're surrounding Jim with Steve. So we're bringing on Steve, whose channel is A is for Alice, B is for Bob, and C, we're just going to say, is for collecting. Does that work, Steve?
That works. The C is on a rotating basis. However, whatever I'm in the mood for that day.
Whatever works, right? Well, thank you so much for being here. Oh, go ahead, Steve.
This way, we have the Eastern time zone, Central time zone, and Mountain time zone covered. So we're taking.
We're gonna need a West Coaster here next time, Steve.
Yep.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for being with us today. It's always great to bring some folks in and expand our chat sphere, if you will, for the Two Guys podcast. Steve and I have a lot of fun, but man, you know what, Steve? Sometimes I get sick of talking to you. I'm kidding.
Like my wife now.
I am joking. Absolutely joking. So lots to cover today on the show, and we're going to talk about how one's tastes tend to change a little bit as you go through time, as you move ever forward. Like, for example, Steve, I know you used to love polka, but now you really love polka. So.
Yeah. That's right. That's why you keep sending me polka albums. I was wondering about that.
I've got one more to use as a stiffener in the next box that shows up.
Okay.
So we're going to get to all of that here in a couple of minutes. Plus, I do have one Record Store Day Black Friday note to pass along because we need to mention Record Store Day, Steve, to make this video jump up like crazy. So, but as we do each and every week, let's start off the episode talking about our most recent pickups and additions to the ever growing and never purging collections. Although, Steve, I believe you're getting in the process of getting ready to get rid of some.
I am. Impending move to Arizona next year.
Wow. Okay, then. Well, good luck on that. But let's cover a few pickups, and we'll start with our guest first. Do you have anything new and noteworthy that's in your collection that folks just need to see?
As much as Steve Carlson tries to talk me out of buying anymore because he knows what I'm facing, I still do continue to buy box sets, although I have, I'm not buying as many albums as I am CDs now because it's just going to be easier for the move. I tend to buy 10 to 1 probably CDs to LPs now, but I will never pass up a box set. So my two most recent box sets are the Stones, the Black and Blue that came out. I put this in a nifty little plastic sleeve there so you can.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and a great couple great bonus discs of live concert, and then I had also through another channel I completely missed when Some Girls came out, and I heard him. He talked about it when he was doing an unboxing for Black and Blue, so I picked up Some Girls, and actually Amazon had it for just for $80, which was a great bargain. And main reason why he brought this up was it's a very tall one and he can't fit it in his shelves.
Interesting.
So I just have to put it down, horizontal instead of vertical.
I find interesting on that, Steve, is that they went with the essentially censored cover, the one without faces for the box set. I thought that the licensing on that would have been worked out by now, or maybe it's just an artistic choice.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure the reasoning for it, but I was glad to get it. So those are my two recent purchases.
Yeah, I bought that Some Girls a few years back got it on. It was at a very good price. Like you said, I got a really good price. And I brought it home and I was so pissed off. It doesn't fit. What the hell? God. Yeah, it's still laying up on top because I can't get it in.
Yeah.
Add a way to mess
good,
up your
great
system.
album.
Well, cool. Good pickup. Steve, what about you, sir? You got another box for sure, I know.
Yeah, but I'm not even showing that one, Jim, yet.
Not yet? Okay.
Listen to it yet. All right. Everything's coming in. Hold on a minute. I got a spam call. There we go. Shutting that off. Okay. Freaking my work phone. The spam calls are phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. We get them at the store.
Yeah. Jesus. All right. I want to start with some VCLT and Dom from Seeking a Thread. That's the name of his channel. I've known Dom for a long time. He has his own band, Material Objects. They have just recently put out an album. I believe it's sold out, but he might have other stuff on Bandcamp, Material Objects. But channel Seeking Thread. I have been wanting Crossing the Red Sea from the adverts for years and have never found it. I have looked. I have tried. I've gone to record shows. I finally bought a kind of a reissue, but it wasn't an original cover or anything. And I've mentioned it a number of times. Dom watches my channel, and he's been purging, and he goes, God, I got an original. He put it on and goes, I really don't need that anymore, and sent it my way. And this is for me, an important punk album. It's one of those top tier punk albums to get. So very excited to get the very first adverts album from him. Totally unexpected. It came in, I opened up a pocket. Wow. How'd I get that?
Very cool.
Like, did I order that or not? I don't know.
That's the other thing with age. You start questioning. Or did I order 3 copies of that?
I question a lot. All right. Here's a new group. Gliders. All right. And this is Gliders Forever is the name of the band. Found them on Bandcamp, just kind of flipping through there. And let's see, the vinyl. Oh, just black. Well, this kind of sucks. But it comes with a bandana.
Okay.
Oh, no, I've never gotten a bandana before, so that's my very first. And there's a poster that's kind of boring. This music, there's country rock in here, but a lot of psych. So psyche country rock, I guess. Their voices are smooth. They flow together so nicely. I'm really liking this album a lot. I'm just totally enjoying it. It's just sounds really, really good. One of those groups, never hadn't heard of before, but the Gliders. Yeah.
Well, that if you call the bandana a do-rag instead, you can start wearing that in pool cleaning next summer when you're out and about.
That's true. And look cool. This one just came in from Fuzz Club. Ashinoa Utora 4. I have to send that. It's French.
Okay.
I can't. I just, I can't. I don't even know which way it goes. It goes like that, I guess. It goes like that. There we go. Now we got the front. Okay, so this is a fascinating album. We're still trying to wrap my head around it. It says on here, and I'm just going to tell you what it says. All right. It says synthesized motoric beats with off-kilter experimental electronics. There are moments of serene down-tempo bliss here too. Clarinets, flute, and sax are introduced with touches of psychedelic jazz and 60s Brazilian at its most cinematic. For fans of Stereolab, Cavern of Antimatter, Vanishing Twins. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The Heliocentrics. It's experimentally different. It's not bad. It's one though that you just don't go, oh my God, that's awesome. I just listened to it for the first time today. I just got it in, and it wasn't bad, but it's different.
Now,
And
being
damn it,
French,
if it's not in French.
being French, Steve, would that have any connection to Stereolab whatsoever? Have you done any cross-referencing yet?
And Stereolab's much more poppy. This
Okay.
is much more experimental. They throw in some different instruments, more krautrock.
Okay.
Definitely a feel of krautrock in there. But
From the occupational phase of French prog rock.
yeah, I guess. Oh, God. Oh, so that's new. Some garage rock, the Telltale Hearts. And the now sound of the Telltale Hearts. It looks like it'd be from the 60s, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It is from the 80s, one of our great 80s garage rock albums. And just basic, cool garage rock off Vox. So, Vox just did so much dang garage rock. Yeah, it has a Vox organ in it. There's, grass, snarly vocals, cool guitars, just cool American garage rock.
You just did a video on 80s garage rock too, didn't you?
Yep, for
Cool.
the U.S. I got a whole stack of it from
Wow.
other countries. And we had this that I'd gotten in, The Brood. And those are 4 nice ladies. Okay, trying to look very 60s on there. And I'm telling you, they're kind of fierce. Especially that female vocalist kind of scares you, man. She comes out really tough and hard and just cool garage rock again.
And what era is that from? That's not the 60s.
80s.
80s
This
again.
is the 80s. Yeah,
right.
The 80s again. You have to look 60s. And I mean, she even has that hair going through, covering her eyes. Interesting stuff. In spite of it all, The Broods.
Yeah, and going by that cover, I was expecting them to be a British act too.
Yeah, doesn't that? Well, that's what. Yeah, everyone's trying to mimic. A couple more here. Here's another one. This one. Yeah, I'd gotten in some garage rock. 1313 Mockingbird Lane. The Monsters Address.
Yep.
So kind of garagey horror rock, shall we say? Cool green vinyl. I mean, yikes! It's on green vinyl. So we have such great things as Dig Her Up, Big Black Car, Bat's Milk Yogurt, Headless Angel, Teenage Devil Doll, Blood on the Moon, Space Ghost, Wolfman, Jack the Ripper, Ooga Booga Baby, which was their hit that you've never heard. Name of the album is Have Hearse Will Travel. This is just freaking fun. This is just, it's not Cramp style, it's more, Cramps it's not psychobilly, but garage rock with fun lyrics. And 2 more. I got this from Radio Wasteland, had no idea. Blind By, Brent Bjork. Jamalamanata.
Okay.
Jamamanat. Who cares?
It'll be in the playlist.
It's stoner rock, kind of psych rock. There's the guy. And yeah, Jim showed this on his channel where he shows his used, and I just thought, that's something probably no one's going to grab. I was right.
So I'll get it.
Yeah, no one's going to buy that. I feel bad for Jim. I'm going to buy it. It was really good. In fact, Jim has another one of these from this guy, and I'm already kind of looking at getting that. It does have very much that stoner rock vibe going on with the psych in there. This came out in, man, of course we don't put, here we go. The date 2021 came out.
Okay.
Cool cover on there. Who doesn't love a skull? And the final one is from a VC member. Everyone's been showing it. I just haven't got around to it yet, as usual. And that's Astral Yacht. And this is from Derek, and I believe his last name's Fisher. Yep, Derek Fisher. And his channel is Psyche Derek. He's out of Nebraska, so he has to be a quality individual. Did you?
Yeah,
it is.
Or Wednesday, I think.
Okay. It's making its rounds, and it's really good psych. I haven't shown it yet because I just got to dig into it more, wrap it around my brain before I can do it. But cool cover. I mean, Derek is one of the premier guys when it comes to psych. I mean, that is his deal. So it comes off through here. Really good guitar work on this. Totally enjoyed it. So, yeah. And that's all I'm going to show this week because
You're overloaded.
I was telling you, and I know, Steve, you're purging, and I've said I got to get, I'm going to be purging. I haven't started yet, and I truly, really need to get going on that thing, but we will.
All right. Well, I only have I only have a couple of pickups, and as I mentioned last week, I had a line, Steve, and here it is. It is the Dead Milkman Big Lizard in my backyard, the RSD Black Friday one from a couple of weeks back. I pulled the lenticular cover out. Very good job packaging on this from Giving Groove Records. They turned it into a gatefold with lots of cool liner notes, including some of the old Dead Milkman newsletters recreated in there. I've got some original newsletters from there. But as I mentioned, they did a really nice job on the packaging. So this is a die cut cover, and the lenticular sleeve that fits in there on its own, and I can make it work here. The lizard gets a t-shirt. And what's even kind of cooler is because it is that die cut cover, that's actually one of the inner sleeves inside. And when you pull this out, you get yet a third image of some surfing going on in the back there. So very happy on this. It's on colored vinyl. I'm glad that I was able to snag one of these in. I think the other one's a different color. The other LP is on green, so you get yellow and green to match the cover itself.
Nice.
So, one of my favorite Dead Milkman albums. I've got
they spared no expense on that packaging because I used to work for a company called AGI, which was Album Graphics Incorporated, just outside of Chicago. I mean, they used to print tons of stuff for everybody, for all the labels, and to do a lenticular and a die cut combined, that's pretty expensive.
It would be. Well, that's reflected in the album. The Record Store Day list price on this thing was $50 some too. So.
Yeah, they'd have to charge that much.
Yep, and it was really limited, and this is already on Discogs, popping $150.
Yeah.
So I got kind of lucky.
I'm kicking myself on that one, Jim. It's like, I had the original, so I says, I don't need it for that. And now I'm like, damn.
Well, Giving Groove has now set the precedent because 2022, they did Metaphysical Graffiti. The only big one, I mean, there's a couple of others, but the only big one that's left from the Milkman is Beelzebubba that's got Punk Rock Girl. So here's my prediction. That will get the Giving Groove treatment here in the next year or two, maybe 2 years before we get something with the Beelzebubba from the Milkman in a Record Store Day release as they're having fun. Okay, so the only other pickup, I'm happy to have that one in, by the way. The only other pickup is one of those ones, Steve, that had been sitting in the store a little bit too long. I put it out a couple of weeks ago with one of our big vinyl drops. And then I made the mistake of playing it, and then we got in a rush, and so I just dropped the needle on it a second time, and I thought, okay, now there's nobody in the store. I'm going to listen to this a third time so I can listen to it more. And I've heard this album before, and that's Alan Parsons and I, Robot. But as you can see, it is the original master. It's a Mo-Fi version of I, Robot. Not tremendously pricey when it comes to Mo-Fi stuff, but still a good find. And I've listened to this before. This is one of those albums that sits in the store for $3, $5 here and there. And I've listened to it, and it's good. And then I gave the mobile fidelity version a listen, and I really liked it. It sounds great. And I was kind of hearing things and picking stuff up that I had not picked up before, especially when I had that half an hour of quiet time and I could actually sit and concentrate on it. So, okay. I'm just going to kind of hold this. If somebody comes in and say, hey, where was that Alan Parsons from a couple of weeks back? And I'll say, oh, okay, maybe. So, but it's not tremendously expensive. It's maybe around 100 on the super high end on Discogs. Nothing terrible.
That was my first Alan Parsons album that I got. And I mean, in college, it was just like, God, that is really cool. And I still like it. I mean, Steve, do you have that?
I have it, and it's also my first Alan Parsons. The only thing, the second side kind of loses me a little bit. To me, it's a front-loaded album.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I would equate that to Court of the Crimson King in the instance, where one side, man, this is great. The other side's like, What were you thinking? But overall, I think especially the mobile fidelity side of it really, I think, adds to that. And even if it does get a little experimental and weird on the backside, it is still cool.
Yeah, I remember when I got that, and I'm like, okay, this singer sounds familiar, and then find out he was singer for the Hollies.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So as we do each and every week with these recent pickups and anything we happen to talk about, we'll create a Spotify playlist to give you a chance to listen in on some of the things that we're discussing here. You can find that link to the playlist in the description of both the YouTube episode and the Spotify episode. Of course, Spotify, they tie that right in there. And speaking of Spotify, Steve, I got my Spotify wrap. I know you don't have a subscription per se, but those of you who are subscribed to Spotify, you get your wraps at the end of the year to tell you what you listen to. The podcast itself, our podcast page got a wrap too, and I think I'll dive into that and share it with you so we can dissect it. We'll talk about that a little bit more next week and share some of the findings on that. And
Okay.
I'll let you folks in on my my Spotify age as determined by my listening habits on Spotify. I think Spotify is full of it, to tell you the truth in this instance, but I don't agree. But we'll talk about that next week. Okay, I have one other piece of news, if I could, Steve. I got to fit in a quick Record Store Day announcement from Black Friday because this is kind of cropped across our. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Anytime we mention Record Store Day in the podcast episode, the views go way up. So we're going to have to fit it in anywhere we can. But no, this is actually kind of an important one. Actually two of the releases, they have. I got a note saying that there have been defective copies of two releases from Record Store Day Black Friday. Billy Joel and the artist Role Model. The note I said I got that we're aware that there are limited copies of these two releases that have defects, and we are working with Sony and Interscope to find a workaround for customers who have issues. Now, there's no indication as to what the defect on the Role Model is. I had 2 or 3 copies of that in the store, and I've not heard back from a customer that they've had a problem. I think we only had 1 or 2 of the Billy Joel also, and I've not heard back from the folks that purchased those, so maybe they didn't get a defective copy. But the Billy Joel one, it turns out, it's a 3 LP set, and it was limited to just like 1,500 copies, I think. So very limited. But some customers are reporting that one of the LPs inside was pressed with the wrong music, something else completely different on it. Customer
A
purchase.
rapper, I think.
Yeah, if they ended up having pressed with the wrong artist on one of the discs, if you did get a defective Billy Joel, you can hook up through Record Store Day and try to find some info on that or talk to your retailer before January 16th. So you've got about a month and a half here. Sony has agreed to send out white sleeve copies of the correct vinyl where possible. So if you're one of the ones that reported having that incorrect piece of vinyl in the Billy Joel Record Store Day Black Friday release, you can get that. They'll send you just the record and put in there. Now, I did go to the Discogs page. There's a lot of discussion on that, truthfully, in the Discogs page. I don't know if you checked any of that out, Steve. 1,500 copies. It was an RSD exclusive. And I have to find where I put that here. Hold on.
That misprint's probably worth thousands of dollars now.
Could it be? I don't know what I
Yes.
did with my. There it is. Okay, so on the Discogs page, I'm not going to call it up here. There's some comments. Again, if you're unfamiliar on Discogs, if you scroll down to the bottom of an entry page, there's usually comments about that particular pressing. Folks are reporting that there are issues and that they actually put a link. Okay, so there is a link on the Discogs page to submit your request to get the replacement disc from Sony on there as well. And there are other people. This one says, I was lucky enough to receive a correct pressing, but he purchased it from a Mexican record store and imported it to the U.S. So they got that. Other people bitterly disappointed, faulty disc on one side. So there's other quality control issues on here, but that sounds like the big issue was the wrong pressing inside. But if you are one of the folks that did get that, contact your store or look for the link on the Discogs page and you can get that replacement disc. But you're right. I mean, will that make that worth a little bit more down the line if you keep that and have your replacement disc?
Yeah. That thing sold out so fast everywhere. I don't know, Steve, did you hear that on other channels? People just talking about that, but it's just like, it was gone. And I just, Billy Joel.
What amazes me, though, at some point, the pressing plant realized that they'd made a mistake, but quality control must have deemed, you know what, we're just shipping it out. If somebody complains and wants it returned, we'll do it. It's just cheaper for us to do it this way instead of inspecting every one to see where the error was made.
Yeah, that makes sense, and it sounds kind of corporate, doesn't it? We'll figure it out after. I
Yeah.
think when I did television, we used to have a saying: "It's better than good. It's done. We'll deal with it after the fact." So,
It's like the movie Elf when he sent out the book and was missing the last page.
was it?
You remember that? Yes.
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
In
yeah.
Elf.
Not familiar on that. Okay, so here we go. As we mentioned at the top of the episode, we brought Steve in because you're kind of going through kind of what Mr. Carlson's been going through, and that's the idea that you're going to have to purge a little bit. But Steve, I'll let you go ahead and discuss a little bit about why you wanted this subject today, about how our tastes change over time, because you're looking at this with your impending purge, both of you actually,
Yeah.
on how you look at collecting and how that changes as we get older and face some realities.
Well, yeah, I've been watching, I watched Steve's videos and he's been talking about his move and what he's having to do and having to think. And then, I've gone to some record stores. I'm leaving. I'm not buying anything. Some record shows I go in, maybe buy one, maybe buy two albums where I used to buy a whole bunch. And Steve was talking about a recent show that you went to, and he says, I didn't buy much. And I go,
Yeah.
God, what's going on here? Is it something we're getting older? We're not, have things changing, or is it just because of your move? I don't know, Steve, your thoughts.
Um, yeah, that record collector show I went to, was that a weekend? I think it was last Sunday, maybe, if not the week before. But I went with the specific mindset of I was only looking for albums by one band. That was it. I wasn't going to buy anything else because of the impending move. And the band Eloy, prog rock band out of Germany, that's all I went to look for. I found 3 pieces. I bought those, and that was it. I was probably in and out of there in 45 minutes, which normally I'm there for 2-3 hours because it's a big show. It has to have 100 tables. And it's held every other odd month. And then it's always, I think, the third or fourth Sunday of that month when it's held. So it gets a huge turnout. So you can spend hours there, no problem. But I couldn't believe it. I had the discipline. That was it. I just looked for that band. I stopped by a table, say, you got anything by Eloy, and move on to the next. And so, yeah, I think last summer I got rid of about 400 or 500 CDs. I just gave them all away as VCLT. I knew I wasn't going to ever play them again. I sent them off to different people. And now that we've had our house built and everything, we've got, a move-in date because waiting for my wife to turn 65, which will be in November of 2026. That's when we will be moving. So I am already starting. I've torn down my wall of CDs, and I'll be going through those. I have to take those shelves off. The realtor said, get rid of those. Odds are of finding someone who has a huge CD collection also is not going to want those there. So remove the shelf. So I'm doing that, and I'll patch and paint that wall and take care of all that. So the hard part is going to be deciding which albums to let go of.
Yeah.
CDs, it's a little easier.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Obviously I lost all mine anyway. It didn't matter. So I didn't have to try to move them. If I had to move my previous collection, I don't know what I would have done. I honestly, Steve, I mean, it was just, it was too much. And I mean, the place I'm in now that we're renting right now, I'd have boxes stacked in the garage of stuff. And now you built a house, so obviously you thought, okay, music room, here's what I want to have, here's what I'm looking for, which is great, but still it's a hell of a lot to move. It's exhausting.
Yeah, even the house we had built, we had the builder put in my music room sound dampening material in the walls and solid doors that would close so I can be shut off and not, disturb my wife. So that part of it'll be nice to have a completely dedicated room like that. But it's also made me realize what an incredible burden I would put on my wife if something were to happen to me. She has no idea what to do with all this stuff, So I want to pare it down for that reason too, because do I need to have, I don't know what your CD collections are like, but part of the reason my CD collection is so big is because I buy an album, I like it. Well, now I want the CD for the car. So I have duplicates, So it's ridiculous to have my wife to possibly have to go through that. So I have to, make some hard choices.
I can answer the CD question very easily. My CD collection fits in, maybe a bag. I can deal with it there. So I'm lucky. But this is touching on a couple of subjects, I think, Steve, that we've been talking about here on the show for a few different episodes, combining both the purge aspect of it, the moving aspect of it, and just the general discipline of changing your buying habits and how tough that can be.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I went down to Pueblo, Colorado, 3 different record stores. I walked out with not a single album because I was really, well, first off, I knew I bought some stuff through Discogs, but it's just, do I need it? Do I really have? I mean, I used to do so much blind buying, and I still like to blind buy. I think blind buy is exciting.
Yeah.
But I saw stuff that was interesting, but I thought, God, do I have room for it right now? And I began to pass stuff up. And I never used to really do that. And it wasn't like it was super expensive, but I actually thought, which was kind of a rarity in a record store. I want to think about this.
Well, and it also touches on the aspect too. You're talking about Steve, about what kind of burden do you want to leave to someone who's going to have to go through all of this, and we've talked about this too. We had Todd on several episodes back, Steve, the lawyer, talking about that type of thing that you want to do. But I get this a lot in the record store. My father or my mother passed. This is their collection. I have a relative that passed, and a lot of times the folks don't know what to do at all, and that opens up for a lot of. I don't want to say either. I don't want to use the word abuse from different unscrupulous record collectors or dealers or stores, but it does, because if someone has not much of an understanding of what goes into a collection, they're not going to have much of an understanding of how to get something out of a collection when the time comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, when I think of, like talking about the duplicates of the CD and the LP, perfect example for me is Aqualung. Okay, I have my original Aqualung, and then Steven Wilson did the remix, so I bought that. Then I have the big box UHQR of Aqualung, and then up there you can see, those beautiful. Nobody does it better than Jethro Tull. Those book size CD sets. And I have Aqualung up there, and I have my original CD, and I have the 30th anniversary CD. I should get rid of all but one.
And then the problem is, well, how do you decide?
Jim, I forgot to mention, Steve's a completist.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
That's another. That's a whole other topic you could do for another day. Yeah. And the surprising thing is the UHQR is not the one I will keep. I think Steven Wilson sounds better than the UHQR.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Yeah. But it is, I mean, what do you try, doing with all of that? And even now, Steve, if they come out with, I mean, Jethro Tull is famous for just redoing their catalog again and again and again. So would you be tempted when someone else, Bernie Grudman or someone, hey, we just redid Aqualung again? Would you be tempted?
I probably wouldn't now at this age, because I'll be 70 in 6 months. So in June, I'll be 70. So at that point, I know I have enough of Aqualung to last me the rest of my life. I may be on an Aqualung by the time next one comes up, and I'm not going to buy it. So there, I'm putting my foot down there.
Yeah. Now, what about the? Let's look at this from another angle, if we could, too. The idea of how we listen to music or how we collected music in our 20s versus the 30s and 40s, because I can look back at that and when Steve and I we've talked about this, what got us started, what music got us excited. And for me, it was the early 80s and the hard rock and the heavy metal. Then I went to college in 85 and I discovered alternative and punk and got into that. So based upon our current situation, our current lifestyles, our current friend circles, that has a great influence on the type of music that we bring in. Then, as I got into my 30s and 40s with young kids, I drift away from not only a lot of music because it's filled up with things like the Wiggles or Blues Clues. And now it's Bluey with the grandchildren, obviously. But then I found myself drifting back to it. Obviously, even before I got the record store, I'm picking this back up. The kids are older. They want to start learning more about music. But I found that the genre specific stuff has changed for me over the years as well, where in high school and early college, it was all about the hard rock, the Def Leppard, the AC/DC, and then into the punk rock. But now I feel as though you get to a certain point in your collecting, I've got enough of this, I'm going to refine what I have. But there's also times where I go back and there's some records that I have in my collection that are important to me because of the time in my life they meant something. But I go to listen to them now. I'm like, God, that's not that great. Why that? This is not like anything I would buy now because it's just kind of stupid.
Well, okay, I would say my journey started probably 1969 is when I really started buying albums. But when you think of it, really wasn't until 67 that albums started becoming the bigger thing over 45. So really I have friends who are 10 years older than me or 10 years younger than me. And both of them always say, you were born at the perfect time because they're big classic rock fans. And I got to see a lot of those. I got to see Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and, those bands. So, my high school years, it's really kind of the infancy of also, the big rock show too. You think of the pairings they used to do in the 60s, they put Jethro Tull out on tour, they did it like Hendrix. Hendrix went on tour with the Monkees,
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of pairing would not happen now. And no chance of it. So a lot of my music taste came from, my high school friends and neighborhood friends. I didn't go to college, so I never had the college experience where, you start listening to college radio and it's a lot more alternative rock. And that wasn't even a saying back then when I would have been of college age. And then, then you had MTV hit in 81. So now I'm being exposed to other bands that, my peers weren't listening to. We were all still pretty much stuck, listening to Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, the bands that we really loved. Plus I played in a band at the time and that's all the music we played. We played a lot of hard rock. And then I ended up going in the Air Force, late 70s. And so you got exposed to a little bit of that too from other people from other parts of the country, because all of a sudden, it's just like being in college, all of a sudden you got people from all over the country converging into this one location. And so, yeah, that's been kind of it. I do, Steve, you mentioned the blind buys. That's what I loved about growing up, just flipping through. Yeah. Because there was so much of it. You were only hearing so much on the radio. And I can remember getting Alice Cooper's Love It to Death before 18 became a hit. I remember flipping through the bin and I come across, and you can picture the album cover. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty wild. I was, 15 years old at the time. I'm like, I'm going to grab this and bring it home. And it blew me away. And that doesn't always happen with a blind buy.
No, very true.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ways to do it, when I was younger, I was finding my stuff because my friends really weren't into records, but magazines, guidebooks, things like that were kind of guiding me. As I got older, especially when I was in Midland, I would go visit Jim, every week at noon, and I'd be going through the racks and says, Jim, can you put this on? Jim, can you put? I mean, I just hounded him every single week because it was just these blind buys putting them on. But Jim knew that chances are I'm going to go buy them too. So
you got to listen to this, Steve. Listen to this.
Yeah.
one.
And I mean, but it was highly influential for me just trying to go through. Now I don't have that because I don't think most places are going to. It says, hey, there's this old guy there just sitting wanting me to spin different records all day long in here. But I think now a couple, as I look at it, Bandcamp's big, especially if you're younger. You think of younger people. How do they even find classic rock often unless they're listening to the radio? But YouTube for me is so powerful between certain channels that get you into buying things. You're hearing about it, go, oh God, I got to have that. Jim, just drop videos are just bad for me. But I mean, just what's that? I'm still blind buying Jim's on those. And but these other things, though people talk about these new releases that come out that I don't know about. I mean, I just don't seem to be in the know. You got to dig more, I guess. And I don't buy the music magazines or anything like I used to. And my taste just kind of, they're out there. I'm working more into Bandcamp, just looking for something different and something new.
Well, there's this thing that exists now that did not exist when we were younger and collecting. Obviously, the internet is what brought this about, and it's called an algorithm. This is what, whether it be YouTube or Spotify or even Bandcamp or any of the other social media sites, I guess you could say that the algorithm back in the older days was, say, somebody, check this cassette. I made you a mixtape. Check this out. You're going to like it. That's about the closest we'd get. And you think about it, the algorithm now is that friend poking you saying, I made this mixtape for you. Check it out. I think you'll like it. And it learns from our listening habits, and then it intrudes upon us. Yes, our phones are listening, by the way. They're listening right now. And it gives you these suggestions on what you may like. And the art of the blind buy, Steve, it does still exist. And I mean, you're living proof of that right now. But I think it's less important because of the accessibility of you could be in a store, and you did this with the Brant Bjork that you showed earlier. You say, I saw that in the drop video from our store, and it looked intriguing, but I'm not there to bug Jim to put it on the turntable. So what did you do?
I popped onto my YouTube. I went to Discogs and I began hitting the samples, trying to see, do I like the sound of this?
And once you do that, YouTube's going to go, we're going to play more of this for Steve. Okay, maybe not Brant Bjork, but let's hit in some of this other stoner rock to see if we can get him, reel him in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
YouTube's played a huge part of it. Just watching other channels because, I have some samples here to show when we get to that part. I don't think I ever would have discovered most of these bands had it not been for these channels, So they would mention them. I take a quick 30-second listen to a couple songs. See, big thing is the vocalist. If I do not like the voice, I'm probably not going to buy it then. So that's primarily what I go to hear. And then I'll take a chance. I mean, that's kind of a blind buy, cheating a little bit, but I won't sit there and listen to the whole album, not even a whole song. I just want to make sure that I like the singer.
Yeah. So you said you have some examples there, Steve?
I do. Let's see. Well, I know you're familiar with the channel, Steve, Brian Embryonic Robot.
Yep.
Okay. He was talking about Arcade Fire. And I decided I'd take a chance on the first. Well, I did one album at a time, and I actually did a review video of it. So I bought the debut, which I guess is called Funeral.
Yeah.
It's alternative, post-punk, whatever you want to call it. And I was surprised how much I liked it because Brian, as much as I like him as a person and a personality, we don't have a lot of common connection music-wise, So I went into it with a bit of trepidation, but I was surprised how much I like it. Then this one I really like, Neon Bible.
Yep.
Fantastic album. And then the third one, The Suburbs. Okay. So I think I will certainly buy the first and second one on vinyl if I can find it once I move. Like I say, I'm trying to stay away from vinyl because it's a lot
Yeah.
easier to move these three. I could throw them in a pocket.
Yeah.
Um, so I thank Brian for that. And then I knew of the artist. I only have one album by him, and that's his breakout one, Gary Newman. What is it, Pleasure Principle? Or
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have that on vinyl. But then Richard, you've met Richard. I think you've met him. Yeah.
Yep.
Richard's Vinyl Tap House. He was talking about this album, and I just loved the cover, and so that's why I bought it. And it's a fantastic live album. It's a CD and DVD. So I'm blaming Richard on that one. So is my
Steve,
wife.
you've been getting into the live Newman also.
Yeah, I bought that. And Steve, Newman just put out another new one.
I know.
Does he think he is King Gizzard?
I saw. And actually, I'm gonna try my timing because I'll be going down to Arizona a couple times before we move. And Gary Newman is playing in Tucson on April 4th, I think it is. I'm going to try to go down there then and see him. Then a piece of VCLT I received from Alex at Beer and Vinyl. And actually, Steve, this is part of our connection is our Swedish heritage. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever heard of this band, but Velvet Insane out of Sweden.
Just I think through you had talked about them. You
Yeah,
really love them.
They have 3 albums, and I've bought these other 2 because this one Alex sent me. It's glitter rock. I mean, it sounds like it should have come out in 1972, 1973. Just fantastic. I cannot rave enough about this band. I'm anxiously awaiting their 4th album. I haven't seen any talk or rumor about one happening, and then, my latest obsession is the band Eloy. I mentioned them, prog rock band out of Germany. So I got these 2 at the record collector show that I went to most recently, and also a CD of theirs. If I find vinyl on them, great. If not, but I am buying up all their CDs I can find. I was told this is their best, Ocean. I have, for the sake of saving time, I've bought. I now have 10 or 11 of their albums. So yeah, I'm blaming the VC a lot for the growth of my collection. The good and the bad.
It's the only way. Well, there was a channel, and I mentioned on my video today, the Vinyl Douche is a guy that I love because he looked at new shoegaze, new jangle pop, or whatever. But he was so in tune to this, and he would be putting out samples and stuff. And I'd be, oh my god! I mean, I'd be finding a spare envelope just right on the back. I need to check out, and then go buy a bunch of stuff. But it was just this new stuff coming out. And to your point, Steve, you're showing some of that is new, but yet it's so from the 70s and has that feel of what you like. And it's just stuff that we would miss. I mean, you would not have known about that band.
No.
There's so much stuff I would not have known about. And yeah, it's just how it works.
Yeah, I mean, Alex discovered that Velvet Insane. He was in a record store in Columbus, and they were playing it, and he asked, "What is this?" And so he bought it, and then he talked about it. So then I checked it out. So that one sale, did a lot for the band.
Yeah, Jim, that's what you do. There we go. Well, throw that on the table. Get the high fidelity effect.
Try to tailor it to who I think is going to want to buy what when they're in the store. Yep, we do that. Yep. We love selling stuff off the table, I'll tell you.
I got a stack of those records too.
One other I'd like to show because he's a member of the VC, and this is his band, and this is Mike PC31 Vinyl Policeman. Do you have Of Gods and Men? Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
There we go.
So yeah, so you know what it's like. I love that closing song, Kingdom Come. It's a fantastic album. This will be in my top 5 of albums of 2025. Yeah. And I'm not just saying it because I like Mike. I really like the album.
So the vinyl community itself and all of these channels are both a bad influence at the same time of being a fantastic resource.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very true. It is. I guess it's our MTV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could say. Yeah, you just have to find ones that interest you, that kind of grab you, and and get you going. And obviously, to your point, with Spotify, Jim, there is. But I don't subscribe to Spotify. Steve, do you subscribe to Spotify?
I don't do any stream. The only streaming would be what I listen to snippets of on YouTube. That's it.
Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at. I don't listen to radio. It's like listening to the radio. I have my own music, and that's what I listen to.
Well, Spotify is kind of a need for me with the podcast, so it's part of the package for being able to podcast on them is have the subscription for the creators. So that's why I do it.
Are we going to get kicked off now because I said I don't do Spot?
No.
I'll subscribe. I will.
We're okay, Steve. We appreciate that. But it's a neat resource to have. Now, listening habit wise, obviously you guys both are CDs. Steve, you a lot more than that. My CD collection it has always been minimal, and I've not hidden that fact that I think in my life I've ever only purchased probably a dozen CDs, and I've had more in the past from my radio days where they would send out promos and such like that. But the ease of use is always an argument that comes into our listening habits. And obviously, if I could listen to vinyl in a car, I probably would, but that's neither here nor there. It's not even feasible. I mean, they put those out, I think, as gimmicks at some point in the 60s. But from there, radio, I don't want to take the discussion in that direction because I've got lots of thoughts on the future of radio and how that plays in, and the fact that satellite radio is now experiencing what terrestrial radio has been experiencing, because all of these vehicles now, the new stuff is equipped enough to just stream directly with what you want rather than pay for this. You're still paying for a subscription, but that's a discussion for a whole nother time in how our listening habits come into play. But the idea that we change over time as we age based upon our conditions, our location, our ability to listen, our financial situations, all of that comes into play with how our habits evolve and change.
Yeah. Which, Jim, I want to show you something because I'm working on evolving and changing. Okay. I mean,
Okay.
I'm concentrating on this. And I bought this book to help me, to take me on this journey.
I saw
The
that.
Geddy Lee book. Yes, I bought the Geddy Lee book. I am going to become a Rush fan, my effing life. It was $13 on Amazon. I hope you only paid $13 for yours. And so
I did not.
wow.
The best thing is, Steve, now I gotta say this here real quick. I had a where are they here?
I have the book. It's a book.
Yep.
Did you read it already, Steve?
Yeah.
It's a good book from all. I'm only a couple of chapters in, and I've had it almost a year, Steve. That shows you what I've got. But let me share this real quick. We started carrying this nifty little line of candles in the store. These are called Legends candles. Something different for the holiday season. And I mentioned on one of my the store live streams that you can actually, a customer mentioned, you can hear these candles. Listen for a second. Okay, maybe not quite, but each of the candles has a rock lyric on it. This one says, "Dream on, dream on, dream on, dream until your dreams come true." And when people read that, you hear them. So that's kind of what you're going to. What I'm getting at is that as you read the book, Steve, I want you to read it and hear Geddy's voice, so that will help acclimate you to listening to the music a little bit more. How's that?
I read a lot of rock biographies, and that is another reason why my collection has grown to it. Because when I read a book about a band or a singer, whatever the case may be, I want to own the entire thing and listen to it as I'm reading it. So I was never a huge Peter Gabriel era fan, Peter Gabriel Genesis era fan. And they came out with a big book in 2007 that they all participated in. And I bought that to read it. And so I bought the entire collection then so I could go along. And now I like that era of music. And actually, because I was so late to the party with them, I love their debut album, which is nothing like Genesis. Most people do not like that debut, but it's a very poppy album.
Yeah. And I just finished up a Mark Lanigan, and I went out and I bought one of his first solo albums, and then I got another one, and I did buy the REM book. Now I have most of REM, but there will be stuff I'm missing, and I know it's going to get me interested. Yeah, I don't go as far as you, Steve, to buy the whole catalog as I read, and I get that, and that's really cool. But you got to move that now. It does. I mean, I do a lot of reading, and I have a lot of books. I lost hundreds in that flood, which, bugs me, but it's okay. We're still reading away, and it's interesting stuff.
Yeah.
We'll have to take a bet, Steve, whether or not you finish the Geddy Lee book before I end up getting around to doing it. I used to read a lot, but I haven't in a long time. And I've got that book, and I've got a few other cool books that I just need to buckle down and get through them. And that'll change my habit.
I got Pink Floyd book that Steve recommended, and he showed on his channel, the complete Pink Floyd, Steve.
Yeah.
I have to get that one read, so I bought. So, not only does YouTube get us to buy more records, it helps us buy more books.
There you go. And you better brush up on that Floyd, because the box set's coming next week for Wish You Were Here.
Steve, are you getting that box set, The Wish You Were Here?
I already have the Immersion edition. So I'm taking a pass.
This has stuff not on there. It's I'm just telling you.
Here's the VC peer pressure is in real time now.
I may have to take a look to see what's on there that I don't have.
I'll be watching you. I will be watching you.
Yeah, I mean, if this was coming out two years ago, I would probably be buying it, but now I think of moving it,
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's a box.
You're right. Yeah.
It's another box.
Regardless of how we get to these later years and how we get through these later years, I mean, all the different aspects and situations that we talked about before, it's a journey that I think I'm still happy to be on. And I think you guys would agree to that too, that wherever we're going with this, it's still going to give us some good listens down the line.
Most definitely.
Yep. Cool. Well, as always, we do appreciate you folks checking in with us each and every week here on Two Guys Talking About Records. Steve, we're coming up into the year-end wraps, and so I think we got to start thinking about that in the weeks to come here.
Yeah. I got a lot of new albums. There's reissues. Gotta do it.
Well, Steve, thank you very much for taking the time to chat with Steve and I today on this. We wish you the best of luck as you move forward with this. It's going to be a monumental task, isn't it?
Yeah. Thank you for the invite.
Yep. I do remind him on his channel where he shows a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
You are moving.
We will put a link up in the description as well to Steve's channel so you folks can check him out further if you have not done so already. But at that same time, we would encourage you to watch those and make sure you're subscribed to all three channels all throughout here, because that helps us out, and it's much appreciated throughout each of our individual efforts on YouTube and Spotify.
Yeah, cool. Exactly.
All right. So until next time, my name is Jim, and I own a record store.
I am Steve. I am a record collector.
And Steve?
Go ahead, Steve.
I am Steve, and I am in the middle of a purge of records and CDs.
Good luck. All right. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks again, Steve.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.